Science and maths, they're two core subjects of our curriculum, right? Maybe not. Fewer and fewer students are taking them in favour of subjects like media studies and PE. So how do you turn this trend around? Dr. Stephen Sexton is a primary science educator at the University of Otago and he's with us now. Good morning, Dr. Stephen, can I say that? According to research, what do kids think of maths and science? Tell us what they think.
It would depend on the different ages you're looking at. In primary school, most students think math and science, well, science especially, is really, really fun because it's things they get to do and it's things that actually make noise, explode, smell, things they get to play around with. But as they start going through the school systems, it starts getting less and less interesting till about year 8, where they're shifting from that primary into that intermediate secondary level, and it starts becoming more of a subject area with subject specialist teachers doing it. So the interest starts coming down because it's no longer the fun subject, it's now having to turn into more of an academic subject. And as they go through secondary school, it just keeps getting less and less interesting. Till the time they get to that year 12, 13, we're getting fewer and fewer into those subject areas because they've lost interest, they're no longer engaged in it, and they've just pulled out into the other subjects.
You say that if teachers haven't engaged them in subjects like maths and science by the time that they're 8 years old, then they generally won't take these subjects at high school, yeah?
Not as much 8 years old, but year 8. That year 7 and 8 is where they're going to start switching and figuring out what they work with. Those intermediate years are so important because they get so much exposure to a wide range of activities. It's where they start figuring out what they like, what they're good at, and what they're starting to get engaged with. So if they don't have that enthusiasm in primary that gets them into intermediate, that gets continued into secondary, it's too late. If they're not interested in by secondary school, they'll never make it into tertiary. They don't want to.
Right. When you get to the high school, though, you're offered so many more subjects these days, especially with the onset of NCEA. Is that part of the problem?
It's not so much that there's so many more subjects that they have to choose from. That's not an issue. That's quite good because it gives students where they can find what they're good at. The more the issue is, if they're not interested in the subject, they won't take it. They'll take the subjects they're more interested in, or they'll take the subject they think is easier while they do the subjects they're more interested in.
Right, so is the onus now on intermediate school teachers to be able to up their game and to try and get these kids interested in maths and science?
Well, it wouldn't be just intermediate, it would be all the teachers. You need them really interested in the first few years of school while they go through primary, up into intermediate, and into secondary. Every teacher's important. Not 1 year is going to determine what happens to a student. It's a cumulative effect. Right. They all need to be good.
All right. All right, thank you for that. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Stephen Sexton, science educator at Otago University. I've got to say, I didn't like maths and science when I was going through school.
I liked them, I think, up until about year 9, and then I started to wane a bit. But of course, there is a difference between liking and having to do it because you want to do that as a degree later on.
But this is the thing as well, you know. I mean, we need scientists, we need innovative thinkers, we need mathematicians for our future. So we need to engage these kids at a younger age and get them interested in it. I don't know what the solution is.